Hey guys, this is Matt Scott for the Rockfit channel. We thought we would do a little introduction video with regards to all you guys out there that want to learn to play the guitar. And you know, often when you see people talking about learning to play the guitar, it's all about licks and songs and various things like that. But you know, thinking back to when I started, what are the things that were most important before all the songs, before all of that? What are the things that you should learn, the most important things? One of the first things that I think you should consider is learning the names of your strings. Basically, starting off with the thickest string, you have the E string, then the next string down is A, the next string down is D, the next string down is G, the next string down is B, and then the thinnest string, the high E. So a lot of different people have got different ways of remembering these strings. Every Alsatian dog's got big ears and all sorts of things. That's just one of them I can remember. But most importantly, you know, you need to remember the names of your strings and be confident with them. E, A, D, G, B, E, and backwards. E, B, G, D, A, E. Secondly, make sure that you are in tune. You don't want to be practicing away in your scales or chords or songs or whatever you're doing and play out of tune. And the most simple way to do this to start with is just to get yourself a little tuning device. You can get these clip-on tuners, which are real handy these days, and you've got your tuner there. You know, you want to be playing your string and it should say E on your tuner. A, and it should say A on your tuner. One of the things you need to learn, step 3, is to make sure that you know your guitar alphabet. So the guitar alphabet runs from A to G, the first 7 letters of the alphabet. Every letter, or every note, has a sharp except B and E. Therefore, you should have A sharp, B, C, because there's no B sharp, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and straight to F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then it all starts again, A, and so on. And of course this ties in with knowing the names of your strings. So if you're on the E string, your thickest string, and you place your finger on the first fret, that is the note after E, which is F. Second fret would be F sharp, third fret would be G, and so on and so forth. You don't need to know all of these notes on the neck. What you do need to know is your guitar alphabet. There is no B sharp, there is no E sharp. Then you should be able to find any note on the neck. For instance, if I wanted to find what note is on the 5th fret of the G string, I should be able to say, well, it's the G string. The first fret would be G sharp, because that's the note after G, then A, then A sharp, then B, and then my 5th fret is going to be C. There you go. Okay, next I'd like to encourage you to learn how to play with a plectrum. Now, it's not essential you play with a plectrum, especially if you're a classical guitar player. Lots of people have different techniques, but what I found is that most, if you like, conventional guitar players that want to strum and play lead guitar licks and whatever, you know, they find it difficult to get used to when starting off how to use a plectrum. One of the things obviously is such a small little piece of plastic, and you know, it takes some perseverance until you actually get comfortable with it and it doesn't keep slipping out of your hands. So persevere with learning how to play with a plectrum. The pointy part should be the bit which is touching the strings. So I'm holding it with my thumb and my first finger, and actually as I'm striking the strings, the point is the bit that's touching. Okay, so persevere on playing with a plectrum, because there's certain things you're going to be able to do that you wouldn't be able to do with your fingers. Of course, as time goes by, you're going to want to learn the flat pick and finger pick and all these different things, but it's cool if you start off, you get used to using a plectrum first. Number 5 is what do you actually play? The tendency is to people want to play their favourite riffs. They want to play the latest Foo Fighters song. They want to play a Joe Bonamassa solo. They want to learn some Jimi Hendrix or whatever, or some Coldplay. But all of that stuff, you know, as you develop as a guitar player, as a musician, your tastes will probably change. I know mine has over the years. And what can you learn which is actually going to be relevant no matter how your tastes change? And what I would say is to get started with your scales. Scales are your foundation of music, basically, and they're good to practice for a number of reasons. But first of all, just to play something, and something that is always going to be useful. So the scales I would suggest you learn, there's 5 of them. The first one being a major pentatonic scale. I'm going to play the G major pentatonic scale. You can find a lot of this stuff online, but here's the G major pentatonic scale. There's an E blues scale. You've got a E natural minor scale. Here's an A minor pentatonic scale. And here's an A major scale. Now these are all the scales that you would learn for a grade 1 electric guitar exam. These scales are they all have different names, as you will recognize. You've got a major scale, you've got a minor scale. You've got a major pentatonic scale, you've got a minor pentatonic scale, and you've got a blues scale. And if you're a guitar fan, which I'm assuming you are, you probably realise that blues has quite an integral part in electric guitar playing, acoustic guitar playing. So learning these scales will do a number of things. First of all, it'll give you good exercise with your left hand and your right hand, and get you playing something. You will get to learn the scales, which eventually you can use. That'll come in another episode. But also as well, it'll help you with valuable ear training. You probably noticed that some good guitar players have the ability to hear something and then be able to play it. And a lot of that is due to their, shall we say, musical ear. And your musical ear develops by playing things like scales. You'll also recognize that, you know, if you take something like that major scale, you will hear lots of other little tunes wrapped up in those scales, and bit by bit, as you get to know the scales better, you'll be able to work out lots of your favourite licks and songs and various things like that. So that concludes our 5 most important things that you should get started on before you actually get in depth playing guitar. The foundation of learning to play the guitar.